I've got all my door panels here now and it's time to fit all the hinges. I'm going to screw the hinges initially into the recesses in the doors, and then once they're all done, and then we'll mount them to the cabinets. I'm not using a power drill to screw these hinges in because it only needs a light bit of pressure, and to be honest, the drill could quite easily tear out the screws if I drove them in too hard. I haven't pre-drilled these screws. I've just used a bradawl just to punch the centre hole, and that's enough just to get the screws started, and that way they'll hold nice and strong. Excellent, one door done, 6 to go. With normal kitchen cabinet legs, which is what these are, they're 150mm long, they're adjustable in height so we can level the cabinet once it's installed. You get a little tab on the foot which would normally be positioned underneath the side panel so that any weight on the side panel is resting on that tab. And in order to locate the foot on the cabinet, it's normal for there to be a 2" or 50mm kick space back in from the front edge of the cabinet. So what I've done is I've screwed one of the kickboard clips to a scrap piece of kickboard to give me the same sort of dimension. I'll clip that temporarily onto the leg, and then what I can do then is set my 50mm distance in from the front edge to the kickboard, and then where the feet is I can put a centre line mark, and then I can transfer that centre line mark across the rest of the bottom of the cabinet, and then that will position the rest of the feet. Okay, we've got our centre line for the leg marked. I'm just going to extend that with the square just so it's more obvious to see. I'm going to take one of the feet. I'm going to position the first screw hole right in the middle of the side panel. That's going to give me the position. There is another hole at the back here which I can line up on the centre line, and then I can just mark the other holes. Once I've got the holes marked for the foot, I can take my bradawl, punch through from the screws, and then we can screw the foot to the cabinet. Again, I'm not going to use a drill to drive these screws in. The hole that I've made with the bradawl is more than adequate to get these screws started, and that way they'll have a nice good bite into the wood. If I pre-drilled these, there is a chance that they could tear out. This plywood's never going to split, so I'm quite happy just to drive these in by hand, to be honest. There is also the tendency with these plastic legs that if you drive the screws in too hard, there is a possibility that you might split the plastic. So this way, at least driving these in by hand, I can feel exactly how hard I'm tightening this down, and I only really just want to nip it up. We follow exactly the same procedure to fit the rest of the legs. I'll extend that mark that I've just made in pencil along the rest of the cabinet to locate the other 3 legs. And there we have it, really secure, that's not going to go anywhere. Place the foot in there, and then we've got the adjustment when we come to level up the units. I'll carry on and fit the rest of the other cabinets. Okay, so we've got all of the legs now screwed to the cabinet. I've put the legs into the bases. Obviously all of the front legs are on that mark that I did originally, which was 50mm back from the front edge to the kickboard. So I've got 50mm here. I now know I've transferred the same mark. I'll also have 50mm here. So when I run the kickboard right the way through, I know that's going to be nice and straight with the front edge of the cabinet. One other thing I like to do just before I put this in place is get my square, set this to 150mm, or near as damn it 6 inches, which is going to be the height of the legs. And then what I'll do is I'll adjust these feet so that they're all 150mm to start with. I mean, I know my floor's probably not level, but at least this is going to give me a good base of which to start from. If these are all 150mm, I know they're going to be level initially, and obviously I can adjust them once I've got the unit in place. There we go, that's it. Now it's time to install the cabinet. Now it's time to sort out the cupboard door handles. Purchased these simple D handles off eBay very cheaply. I think I paid a pack of 10. I paid £1 each for these. These are more than adequate for the workshop. What I'm going to do, because I've got a number of doors to do here, is I'm going to make a template. Similar sort of thing that I do with a lot of things when you've got to repeat the process a number of times. I'm going to get a scrap of hardboard. I'm just going to mark that out instead. I'm going to drill holes in that little piece of hardboard, and then that's going to be my template to mark all my screw locations in all the door panels. First of all, I just want to check what size clearance hole I need for these screws. It's about just under 3mm. So I'm going to put a 3mm brad point bit in the drill press when I come to drill the doors. I've got a scrap piece of wood here that I'm going to use, which is back of an old picture frame. It will do perfectly for what I need. I'm just going to chop this top piece off here. Okay, that's given me a nice square edge. Basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to measure down 2 inches or 50mm, and I'm going to measure in from the edge of the door 25mm or 1 inch, and that's going to be the location of my first screw hole. So let's get that marked out. $50mm down from the top, 25mm in from the side. That's going to be my first screw location. Centre to centre. Looks to be 103mm. Slightly odd dimension. Marking again 25. And then mark down 103. So now I've got my 2 points, which are going to be the hole locations. I'll just punch those with the bradawl. And I'll drill a 3mm hole on the drill press. I've drilled the holes in my little template. I've also marked on it the top edge, just so I know to keep this side upwards, and this is my square edge to flush with the door panel. I'm now just going to transfer these marks to the door. Make sure that the edge of the template is flush with both the side and the top, and simply pencil mark in the two holes. Take my brad, just centre punch those two holes just for the brad point drill bit, and then take that panel over to the drill press, drill the holes. I know they'll be perfectly lined up with the D handle, and I can just replicate that however many times I need to. Easy. Got the brad point bit set up in the drill press. Bring the door panel over, line up the drill with my first brad point hole, and then drill both the holes. There you have it. Now to fit the handle. Door is now drilled at the drill press. Simply a case of inserting the screws from the underside. They're clear, nice and snug. And then all I simply do is I'll wind one screw in a few threads, wind the second screw in a few threads. Lines up perfectly, and then I'll simply snug it up with a screwdriver. And there we have it. Perfect handle position. Be exactly the same on every door if I use the template. I've just got to do the rest of the doors.